All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're taking a deep dive into Mo Pai.
Mo Pai.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's about cultivating chi, right? Like your internal energy.
it is a system for cultivating internal energy.
With some pretty wild claims about what you can achieve with it.
Yeah.
Enhanced energy healing abilities.
Uh-huh.
Even like telekinesis.
Yeah. There are some people who...
So we've got these 2 training guides that break Mo Pai down into 72 levels.
Wow.
72 levels. Can you imagine?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's like a whole structured path to self-mastery, you know?
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting about Mo Pai is that it kind of blends ancient Taoist practices with like modern scientific principles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not just like mystical mumbo jumbo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a real attempt to bridge the gap between like the ancient and the modern, the energetic and the measurables.
Okay, I am intrigued. But 72 levels, that's a little daunting, honestly.
Yeah, it is a lot, yeah.
Where do we even begin with something like that?
Well, the first stage covers levels 1 to 10, and it's all about like laying the foundation.
Okay.
It's about cultivating a sense of groundedness, stability, awareness of your own energy, like before you even start trying to manipulate it.
Right.
And the guides really emphasize this point. There's a quote, "Before controlling energy, you must feel it."
Makes sense to me. You can't build a house without a solid foundation.
Right, exactly.
So how do we actually start to feel this chi energy?
So one of the key practices is, it's called rooting meditation, which is also known as Zanzhuang,
Zanzhuang.
which translates to standing like a tree.
Okay.
And it's a simple but powerful practice where you stand with the feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, and arms held in front of you as if you're gently embracing a tree.
I'm picturing it like drawing energy up from the earth, almost like a tree with its roots.
Exactly. The key is to really focus on that connection between your feet and the ground, feeling the energy flow upwards from the earth through your legs and into your body. Some practitioners even visualize like roots growing from their feet and pulling energy up from the earth. It's a great way to enhance that feeling of groundedness.
Yeah. Okay, I can see how that would help create a sense of stability, connection.
Yeah.
But I imagine there's more to it than just standing still.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What else is part of this foundation?
So another foundational practice is diaphragmatic breath work, and we're talking the Wim Hof variation.
Wim Hof, the Iceman.
Yes.
I'm familiar with his work. He does some pretty incredible things with breath work.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So what makes his technique so important for Mo Pai?
So this breathing pattern, with its deep inhales and passive exhales, really helps to oxygenate the blood and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is crucial for calming the mind and enhancing your sensitivity to qi. From a scientific perspective, this type of breath work boosts nitric oxide levels, which improves blood flow and helps to relax blood vessels.
Okay, so we're grounding ourselves with the rooting meditation. We're supercharging our system with the breath work.
Right.
So is this where the energy manipulation comes in?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Before we jump into manipulating energy, Mo Pai really emphasizes activating and strengthening what's called the microcosmic orbit.
What's that?
Which is an energy pathway that runs along your spine and the front of your body.
Wait, are we talking about like specific physical pathways in the body?
Yes, so according to traditional Chinese medicine, the microcosmic orbit follows 2 main meridians, the Du meridian, which runs up the back along the spine, and the Ren meridian, which runs down the front from the head to the lower abdomen.
Okay, and how do you actually activate this orbit? Is it like a visualization?
Exactly.
Okay.
The microcosmic orbit activation involves visualizing energy flowing along these pathways. Starting at the base of the spine, up the back, over the head, and down the front of the body.
Okay.
This visualization, coupled with specific breathing techniques, is believed to enhance qi circulation, balance the energy in the body, and strengthen the connection between the mind and body.
So it's like we're creating an energy loop within our bodies,
Uh-huh.
and this is all still part of the foundation stage.
That's right. Mo Pai emphasizes building a strong foundation before moving on to more advanced practices.
Right.
The microcosmic orbit is seen as a crucial step in that process because it helps to regulate and harmonize the flow of qi throughout the entire system.
This is fascinating. It's like we're laying the groundwork here for some serious energy work.
Yeah, definitely.
But is there any scientific basis for this microcosmic orbit, or is it purely like an energetic concept?
What's interesting is that the microcosmic orbit closely follows the path of the vagus nerve,
Okay.
which plays a crucial role in regulating bodily functions. Studies have shown that stimulating the vagus nerve can have a calming effect on the nervous system, reduce inflammation, improve overall health.
So even though the concept might come from traditional Chinese medicine, there's modern science that supports the idea of stimulating this pathway
Exactly.
for improved well-being.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how this blends the ancient and the modern.
Yeah, definitely.
We've laid the foundation with the grounding, the breath work, and activating this energy pathway.
Right.
Where does the journey take us next?
That brings us to stage 2, energy cultivation,
Ooh.
where we really start to delve into harnessing and amplifying your ki.
Okay, I'm ready to take my chi to the next level. Tell me more.
So in stage 2, levels 11 to 30, the focus shifts to strengthening your ki reserves and learning to circulate that energy efficiently throughout your body.
Okay.
The guiding principle here is once ki moves freely, the body becomes a conduit of energy.
I like that. That sounds powerful.
It is powerful, yeah.
But I have to admit, the idea of cultivating and manipulating energy still feels a little abstract to me.
Yeah.
How do we actually strengthen our ki reserves?
So one of the key practices in stage 2 is working with the dantian, which are energy centers in the body, kind of like reservoirs or storage centers for ki.
Wait, so there are specific locations in the body where this ki energy is concentrated?
Yes.
Where are these dantian located?
So there are 3 main dantian. The lower dantian, located about 2 inches below the navel. The middle dantian, located in the center of the chest at the level of the heart. And the upper dantian, located in the center of the forehead between the eyebrows.
Okay, so we have energy centers in the lower abdomen, the heart, and the forehead.
That's right.
What's the significance of these locations?
So in traditional Chinese medicine, the lower dantian is considered the primary energy center, often referred to as the sea of qi. It's associated with vitality, grounding, and physical strength. The middle dantian is associated with love, compassion, and emotional balance. And the upper dantian is associated with intuition, wisdom, and spiritual awareness.
So it's not just energy in a general sense.
It's
different qualities of energy.
Exactly.
Associated with different areas of the body.
Yes.
That makes sense, but how do we actually work with these dantian? How do we strengthen them?
So there are specific breathing techniques and visualizations that target each dantian, enhancing qi storage and strengthening your core.
Okay.
For example, to work with the lower dantian, you would place your hands over your lower abdomen, inhale deeply into your belly, and then exhale while contracting your abdomen, holding that contraction for a few seconds before inhaling again.
It's like targeted energy workout.
Exactly.
For each of these centers?
Yes.
I can see how that would build a sense of internal strength and power.
Yes.
The guides also mentioned something called qi circulation through fascia.
Yes.
Now, fascia is that connective tissue throughout our bodies, right?
Exactly. It's what holds everything together.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that slow, focused movements, like those found in Tai Chi, can actually enhance the body's bioelectricity through the fascia.
Okay.
You see, collagen fibers in the fascia have this amazing property called piezoelectricity, meaning they generate energy when subjected to mechanical pressure.
Hold on. Are you saying our bodies are like walking piezoelectric generators?
That's the idea.
That we can actually create energy through movement?
Yeah, so when you engage in practices like Tai Chi with its slow, deliberate movements,
Right.
You're essentially squeezing those collagen fibers in the fascia, generating tiny electrical charges.
Wow.
This bioelectricity then contributes to the overall flow of qi in the body.
So it's not just about generating qi, it's also about circulating it
Exactly.
effectively throughout the body.
Yes.
This is blowing my mind. I always thought of Tai Chi as just a gentle form of exercise, but now I'm seeing it in a whole new light.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's a fascinating connection between ancient practice and modern science.
Yeah.
And it highlights how Mo Pai utilizes like a multifaceted approach to energy cultivation.
Okay.
It's not just about meditation or breath work. It's about incorporating movement, awareness, and an understanding of the body's own energetic systems.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got these dantian exercises for energy storage and Tai Chi movements to get that energy flowing through our fascia.
Right.
Is there anything else we need to kind of master in this stage?
There is one more element worth highlighting in stage 2, and that's the concept of Kundalini activation.
Kundalini.
I've heard that term thrown around in yoga classes, but I don't really fully understood what it means.
Yeah.
What exactly is Kundalini energy?
So Kundalini is often described as a powerful, dormant energy located at the base of the spine.
Okay. It's like a coiled serpent, representing a vast reservoir of potential energy waiting to be awakened.
Mm-hmm.
When activated, this energy is said to, rise up through the spine, activating various energy centers or chakras along the way.
So how does this Kundalini energy relate to the Qi that we've been talking about? Are they the same thing?
So there are different perspectives on this.
Okay.
Some see Kundalini as a distinct energy system, while others see it as an aspect of Qi.
Okay.
In the context of Mo Pai, The 72 levels are believed to correlate to the gradual awakening and rising of Kundalini energy.
Okay.
As you progress through the levels, you're essentially refining your chi and preparing your system for the powerful awakening of Kundalini.
So it's like Kundalini is the ultimate goal.
Yes.
The culmination of all this energy cultivation work.
Exactly.
But is there any scientific basis for this concept of Kundalini, or is it purely a mystical idea?
So while the concept of Kundalini originates from ancient yogic traditions, there's growing interest in its physiological and neurological correlates. Some researchers believe that Kundalini awakening might be related to the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system and the release of specific neurochemicals, leading to altered states of consciousness and heightened awareness.
So we're not just talking about physical energy here.
Right.
There's a definite mind-body connection happening.
Exactly. It's all connected.
I'm sending a theme here.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the spiritual side of things, let's move on to stage 3.
A perfect segue. Because stage 3 is where things get really interesting.
Ooh, okay, lay it on me.
This is where we start talking about key projection and healing, levels 31 to 50.
Okay.
The quote that sets the stage for this stage is, "When chi overflows, it can be projected beyond the body."
Now we're venturing into some serious superpower territory.
Yes, we are.
So how do we learn to project this chi energy outside of our own bodies?
So one of the most fascinating techniques in this stage is called Fajin, which translates to explosive energy projection.
Okay.
It involves releasing chi through a sudden, relaxed strike.
I think I've seen something like that in martial arts movies.
You probably have.
Is Fanjin a martial arts technique?
It is.
Okay.
Fajin is often utilized in martial arts where a practitioner can deliver a seemingly effortless strike that sends their opponent flying.
Yeah.
You might have seen demonstrations where a martial artist breaks bricks or boards with what appears to be minimal effort.
Right.
That's Fajin in action.
I always wondered how they generate so much power with such minimal movement.
Yeah, so it's not just about physical strength.
So you're saying it's about harnessing and directing chi energy.
Exactly. It's about mastering the release of chi through a sudden, relaxed strike.
Okay.
You stand in a relaxed stance, hands open, inhale deeply, filling your dantian with chi, and then exhale sharply while releasing that energy through a focused strike.
Wow.
It's like focusing all that cultivated energy into a single powerful burst.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So Fajin is all about directing chi outward, projecting your energy into the world.
Yes.
But the guys also mentioned chi healing in this stage. Are we talking about actually healing ourselves and others with energy?
Yes, that's precisely what we're talking about.
Whoa.
Think of practices like Reiki and pranic healing, where the practitioner channels energy to promote healing and balance in the recipient.
Okay, I've heard of those practices, but I've always been a little skeptical.
Yeah.
Is there any scientific evidence to support this kind of energy healing?
So there's a growing body of research in this field.
Okay.
While some aspects of energy healing are still considered controversial, there have been studies showing positive results, especially when it comes to pain relief and stress reduction.
So it might not be as far-fetched as it sounds?
Right. It's an emerging field.
It seems like we're tapping into some truly potent forces here.
We are.
But before we delve further into the world of energy healing, we need to take a quick break.
Sounds like a good plan.
We've covered a lot of ground already, from grounding ourselves to cultivating and even projecting our chi energy.
It's been a journey.
When we come back, we'll explore the final stage of Mo Pai mastery where things get truly mind-ending.
I can't wait.
Stay tuned, folks.
Yes.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm still buzzing from our exploration of the first 3 stages of Mo Pai.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff.
Grounding, breath work, energy centers, Tai Chi movements. We even talked about, projecting Chi. But we left off on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yes, we did.
Stage 4, Mastery and Beyond, where Mo Pai claims things start to get superhuman.
That's right. Levels 51 to 72, things get truly mind-boggling. And the guides describe this stage as unlocking abilities that defy conventional limitations.
Like
telekinesis, psychokinesis, the ability to influence the physical world with the power of your mind.
Now hold on, telekinesis? Like moving objects with your thoughts.
Yeah.
I always thought that was science fiction.
Right.
Is there any real basis for this in Mo Pai?
So it's certainly the most controversial aspect of the system, but the guides point to scientific research into what's called micro-PK, or micropsychokinesis, which is the study of mind-matter interactions on a very small scale.
Okay.
While moving large objects might still be in the realm of science fiction, there are studies suggesting that focused intention can influence things like the movement of random number generators or even induce tiny movements in objects.
Okay, so we're not talking about levitating cars or bending spoons with our minds just yet.
Not yet.
But you're saying that focused thought can have a measurable effect on the physical world.
Yes.
That's pretty wild. What kind of training could possibly lead to those kinds of abilities?
Well, one of the key practices in stage 4 is quantum consciousness expansion, which involves deep meditation techniques focused on the observer effect in quantum mechanics.
Observer effect. I vaguely remember that from high school physics.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory. What is that again?
So in simple terms, the observer effect suggests that the act of observing a phenomenon can actually influence its outcome. It's a bit like saying that consciousness plays a role in shaping reality.
So the idea is that by cultivating a heightened state of awareness and focusing our intention, we can potentially influence events on a quantum level. And that somehow translates to observable effects in the physical world.
That's the theory behind this advanced level of Mo Pai. It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of everything and tapping into the power of our minds to influence reality.
It's definitely stretching my brain to wrap my head around that.
It's a big one.
So the guides also mention things like astral projection and remote viewing.
Yes.
Are those considered real abilities within the Mo Pai system?
They are, though they're often shrouded in mystery and misconception.
Right.
Astral projection is the concept of separating your consciousness from your physical body.
Okay.
Essentially allowing you to travel to other realms or dimensions.
Okay.
Remote viewing is the ability to perceive information or events happening at a distance without relying on your physical senses.
Now we're getting into some seriously esoteric territory.
Yes, we are.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but these concepts seem to veer away from the more scientifically grounded aspects of Mo Pai that we've discussed so far.
I understand your skepticism, and it's important to approach these concepts with a critical and discerning mind. But even though these abilities might seem far-fetched, there are individuals and researchers who claim to have experienced and even documented them.
Okay.
Whether or not these experiences can be scientifically validated is a matter of ongoing debate.
It sounds like stage 4 of Mo Pai is as much about exploring the frontiers of consciousness as it is about developing those extraordinary abilities.
I think that's a great way to put it, yeah.
But with all this talk of mind-blowing potential,
Yeah.
I'm curious about the practical side of things.
Sure.
What kind of training is involved in this stage?
Well, the guides emphasize the importance of continuing those foundational practices from earlier stages, like the meditation, the breath work, the energy cultivation exercises. Those are seen as essential for building the sensitivity and mental discipline required for advanced Mo Pai training, but they also introduce some new concepts.
Like what?
Like holographic consciousness integration.
Holographic consciousness integration. That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
What does that even mean?
So it's a pretty complex concept, but essentially it involves a shift in perception, understanding reality as a quantum field where everything is interconnected and constantly influencing each other.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that we are not separate from the universe, but rather a part of this vast interconnected web of energy and information.
So it's about recognizing that interconnectedness and tapping into it on a deeper level.
Exactly.
Is that how we start to develop these advanced abilities, by aligning ourselves with this greater web of consciousness?
That's the idea. The guide suggests that as we shift our perception from seeing ourselves as isolated individuals to recognizing our interconnectedness with everything, we start to tap into a greater potential, a field of possibilities that extends far beyond our limited ego-based awareness.
That's a pretty profound idea.
It is. It is.
It makes me wonder, if this interconnectedness is real, what other untapped potential might be out there waiting to be discovered?
That's a great question, and one that each individual will have to explore for themselves.
Yeah.
Mo Pai offers a framework, a path, but ultimately it's up to each practitioner to discover their own unique potential within this vast cosmic tapestry.
So it's not just about learning a set of techniques, it's about embarking on this journey of self-discovery.
Exactly.
And exploring the mysteries of consciousness itself.
It is, yeah.
It all sounds pretty daunting.
It can be. Yeah, it's a big undertaking.
Is there any way to track our progress as we move through these levels?
Right.
How do we know if we're actually developing these abilities?
So the guides do mention specific testing methods to track your progress, though they emphasize that the most important measure of progress is your own subjective experience.
Okay.
In the early stages, the tests focus on developing internal key awareness.
Like the hand warming technique we talked about.
Exactly, or feeling the energy field between your palms after rubbing them together.
Right.
But as you progress to the more advanced levels, the tests become more challenging, focusing on things like telekinesis and remote viewing.
So what would a telekinesis test look like?
Okay, so
Are we talking about moving furniture with our minds?
not quite. The guides recommend starting small, focusing on moving lightweight objects like feathers or pieces of paper.
Okay.
The key is to create a calm and focused state of mind, visualize the object moving, and then direct your intention towards it.
And what about remote viewing? How would you test for that?
So a common method involves having a partner hide an object in a random location.
Uh-huh.
Then the remote viewer attempts to perceive the location of that object using only their mind, often drawing a picture or writing a description of what they see.
These tests sound pretty interesting.
They're fun, yeah.
It's like a fun way to track your progress and see how your abilities are developing.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's not forget about the most important fuel for any kind of training.
Yes.
Food. What about the recommended diet for someone practicing Mo Pai, especially at these advanced levels?
That's a great point. The guides emphasize that your diet plays a crucial role in supporting your energy cultivation journey, especially as you progress to the more demanding stages of Mo Pai.
Okay.
They recommend a key-enhancing diet, focusing on foods that boost energy and vitality.
So what kind of foods are we talking about?
Think whole, unprocessed foods that are easy to digest and packed with nutrients.
Okay.
Black sesame seeds, walnuts, ginseng, spirulina, raw honey.
Okay, I'm liking this already.
Those are all considered to be excellent sources of qi. They also recommend incorporating chlorophyll-rich greens, fermented foods, beets, turmeric, and garlic into your diet.
Those all sound like pretty healthy and delicious choices.
They are.
It's pretty much a clean, whole foods diet with an emphasis on certain, energizing ingredients.
Exactly.
Are there any foods that we should avoid if we want to maximize our qi?
So the guides advise limiting processed foods, alcohol, refined sugar, and excessive dairy. These are believed to be qi depleting, draining your energy rather than boosting it.
Okay.
They also recommend avoiding heavy meats that require a lot of digestive energy.
So it's about choosing foods that nourish and energize the body.
Exactly.
Creating a synergy between your diet and your training goals.
Yes, it's all connected.
It makes sense.
It does.
But before we wrap up our exploration of stage 4, I have one question that's been bugging me.
Okay.
We've talked about all these incredible abilities, telekinesis, astral projection, remote viewing, but do people actually achieve these things through a Mo Pai training, or is it all just theory and speculation?
That's a question that ultimately each individual will have to answer for themselves. The guides provide a framework, a set of practices, but they don't guarantee specific results. The potential's there, but it's up to each practitioner to cultivate that potential through dedicated practice and self-exploration.
So it's a journey of self-discovery as much as it is a path to developing these extraordinary abilities.
I think that's a great way to put it, yeah.
I think it's a great note to end on.
Yeah.
But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll be talking about some practical tips and testing methods for exploring Mo Pai, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned, and we are back for the final part of our Mo Pai deep dive.
Back again.
It's been a journey.
It has. It's been a lot of information to absorb, for sure.
It has. We've explored the system's progression from those, foundational practices to some really mind-bending advanced techniques.
Yeah.
It's been quite a journey,
It has been. We've covered a lot of ground, from grounding ourselves and activating our internal energy pathways to cultivating qi in the Dantian and exploring the potential for, energy projection and even influencing reality with our minds.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but before we wrap up, I'd like to touch on something we briefly mentioned earlier.
Okay.
The role of bioelectricity in Mo Pai. It really piqued my curiosity, and I think our listeners might be wondering about it too.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Understanding bioelectricity is key to grasping how Mo Pai works. On a fundamental level. Essentially, every cell in our body generates a tiny electrical charge.
So we're like walking batteries.
In a sense, yeah, these tiny charges all work together to create a complex network of bioelectric signals that control, everything from our heartbeat to our brain activities.
All connected.
And Mo Pai seeks to tap into and enhance this bioelectric energy.
That makes sense, but how exactly do these Mo Pai practices influence our bioelectricity?
Well, think back to the practices that we discussed, things like rooting meditation, diaphragmatic breath work, and the microcosmic orbit. These techniques, while seemingly simple, are all designed to strengthen our bioelectric field, improve energy flow, and increase our sensitivity to these subtle energies.
So it's almost like a workout for our bioelectric system.
Yeah, exactly.
Helping us become more efficient conductors of energy.
Yeah, I love that analogy. By practicing these techniques consistently, we're essentially training our bodies to generate, store, and direct qi with greater precision. It's like fine-tuning a musical instrument.
I like that, to
Yep.
produce a richer, more harmonious sound.
Exactly.
So let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the practical benefits.
Okay.
The guides mentioned that Mo Pai training can have real-world effects on our, physical health.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some examples of those benefits?
There are many potential health benefits associated with Mo Pai. For instance, the deep breathing techniques can increase lung capacity and oxygenation, leading to more energy and reduced stress.
Okay.
The emphasis on proper posture and alignment can alleviate back pain and improve overall mobility.
So Mo Pai isn't just about developing, superpowers.
Right.
It's also about enhancing our, overall well-being.
Absolutely. It's a holistic system that addresses the physical, mental, and energetic aspects of our being.
Right.
By cultivating harmony and balance within ourselves, we naturally improve our health and vitality.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but let's not shy away from those, more extraordinary possibilities.
Sure.
The guides also talk about Mo Pai's potential to, enhance our cognitive abilities.
Yes.
What kind of cognitive enhancements are we talking about?
Well, there's evidence suggesting that practices like meditation and qigong, which are integral to Mo Pai, can sharpen focus, concentration, and memory. And as we discussed earlier, the activation of the vagus nerve through these practices can have profound effects on brain function.
Right.
This could potentially lead to enhanced creativity, intuition, and even, as the guides suggest, psychic abilities.
Okay, now we're back to the mind-bending stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
But before we get lost in the possibility, I think it's important to reiterate that Mo Pai is a journey.
Yes.
That requires, patience, dedication, a willingness to explore the unknown.
It does.
There's no quick fix here, right?
You're absolutely right. There are no shortcuts on this path.
Yeah.
It's about consistent practice, gradual progress, and a deep commitment to self-discovery.
Yeah, it's a lifelong journey.
It is.
Of exploring.
It is a journey, yeah.
And I imagine that journey is unique for each individual.
It is.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
You got it. There's no rigid dogma or set path.
Right.
It's about finding what resonates with you, listening to your body's wisdom, and trusting your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
The guides are there to provide a framework and guidance, but ultimately you are your own best teacher.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Mo Pai,
Yes?
what's the one key takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would say Mo Pai at its core is a journey of self-discovery, a way of tapping into our full potential and exploring the mysteries of our own being. Whether or not one achieves superhuman abilities is almost beside the point. The true gift of Mo Pai lies in the crisis itself, the journey of self-cultivation, and the expansion of consciousness that it offers.
That's a beautiful way to sum it up. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating exploration of Mo Pai. We hope this deep dive has inspired you to embark on your own journey of self-discovery and explore the incredible potential that lies within you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep an open mind to the wonders of the universe, both within and around you.